game of the night last night was in Orlando. Cade Cunningham and the Pistons trying to even up their series with the Magic at 2 games apiece. First quarter, here's a theme. Cunningham turns it over. Here we go the other way, Monica. Paolo Banchero throws it down.
Man, oh man, the Magic are playing with a tremendous amount of force in the paint, and they did a great job of forcing the Pistons into turnovers.
Credit to you. You said before this series began, this is a bad matchup for Detroit. Here's another one of those turnovers, and it's Franz Wagner.
23 points off turnovers. That's what Detroit gave up, and the Magic were relentless.
Meanwhile, we did get this moment last night.
Kane turns the corner.
Oh my God. I was on a plane. I was like, is this AI? This can't be real. Like, where did this even come from?
Dunk in the playoff, Shams?
Got to be the dunk of the playoff.
Ooh, maybe even more than that. So meanwhile, that was Detroit's big highlight. Now here's a battle of number 1 picks. Paolo over Cade. Magic by 5. 6 minutes to go. Pistons down 4. Not going away. Tobias Harris. Turnaround to 2-point game. Less than a minute later, we're tied at 85. Banchero in the paint. No good, but Kane is there. Yes, Kane all over the floor. Magic up by 2, and then looking for a dagger. Monica, after you see the Kane put back, where are we going to go? How about Desmond Bane?
Absolutely. A little bit of a fortuitous bank, if you will, but he had earned it. He's been playing great ball in this series.
Orlando wins. The number 1 seed Pistons are on the brink. They have been the best team in the Eastern Conference since the first jump ball to open the season in October. The Magic now are the 6th, 8th seed to take a 3-1 lead over a 1 seed. Since seeding began in the early 80s, the lone 8 seed that didn't convert their 3-1 series win was the Magic in 2003, who lost to the Pistons. So we've actually seen this series between these 2 teams and the team that was down 3-1 come back to win. But this has a different feeling. So I want to go little picture and then big picture. Let's start little picture, Wendy, with this game itself. How do you explain how the Magic were able to do it again last night?
Yeah, the Magic are playing with incredible passion and aggression at the defensive end of the court. This has really been a series about defense. The Magic were not as good defensively as all of us thought they would be during the regular season. Their defensive potential has been unveiled in this postseason. And Cade Cunningham has been running into a wall. There is no reason for the Magic to respect the outside shooting of the Pistons. They have packed the paint. Cade Cunningham keeps trying to force his way into it. He's got 24 turnovers in the past 3 games. And Jalen Duren, it was very unfortunate for Detroit fans, appropriate, that Duren was the one getting dunked on there by Jamal Cain, because after a breakout, spectacular, awesome regular season, Duren has gone away in this series, especially offensively.
You're struggling with depression and not feeling the comfort and peace that you need. I invite you to meet with missionaries like me from the
spectacular, awesome regular season. Duren has gone away in this series, especially offensively.
And that's the little picture. The big picture, Monica, I've watched 3 of the 4 games in this series. And I think if you took off the seeds, if you didn't know what the seeding was, you would not think it looked like an upset. It would look like the better team has been winning. How do we explain that?
Greeny, to me, and I said this after game 1, this is the worst draw for the Detroit Pistons, because part of what made them so successful during the course of the regular season was their ability to out-physical you and their size in most matchups. The Magic are even, if not better, in that category. When I look at it, we all said, we love what the Pistons are doing. Cade Cunningham should be an MVP candidate. But who else when you get to playoff basketball? And that has come into full bloom as an issue. There is not another creator, let alone the fact that Cade Cunningham is struggling in this series. On the flip side of that, when you look at the Magic roster, you got guys that can go get a bucket for themselves and create for somebody else. When you talk about Wagner, Banchero, Bane, Suggs, and off their bench, you got Anthony Black, guys that can boogie and are pushing this Detroit defense.
What do you think, Shams?
This is why the Pistons at the deadline checked in on Trey Murphy and Lauri Markkanen, and it's now you look into the offseason just a little bit. Whether you win this series or don't win this series, how can you address that need for that secondary star, that secondary scorer? And Trajan Langdon, since he's came into the Detroit Pistons front office a couple of years ago, it's been a patient build. They've got all their assets. They've got tradable contracts. And so last season was this team's first run in the playoffs. Then this year you see what they can do now that they're the 1 seed. There was a lot of optimism the second half of the season. But clearly there's somewhat of a need, right, in that secondary. So I do expect them to be star hunting a little bit, or hunting for that type of player.
So what? Just very quickly, when I hear you say star hunting, I mean, that sets off bells in my head. What does star hunting mean? I mean, does that mean we should be expecting them to check in on Giannis?
Well, you look at the profile of player, right? Larry Markkinen, Trey Murphy. Like, those are guys in their 20s, in the prime of their career.
Right.
You want players that fit the mold of Cade Cunningham and Jalen Duren. That doesn't mean you're not opportunistic if you can get an older type veteran player.
Yeah, but they got to be able to space the floor. So Giannis is probably not it.
So probably not. So Windman, sort of finish this one up for me here. The Pistons, we were talking, you and I, before the show came on the air this morning, about teams that get losing 8-1. It's extraordinarily rare in basketball history. You had a lot of perspective on that and sort of what the Pistons are up against at this point.
Yeah, I mean, look, we are on the verge of something we almost never see. If you look at 7-game series where the 8 has beaten the 1, it's happened only a handful of times. The last 2 times it happened, the Heat over the Bucks, Giannis got hurt in Game 3, and then Bulls fans will remember the terrible ACL injury in Game 1 back in 2012 to Derrick Rose. So we haven't seen an 8 seed beat a 1 seed without an injury to a star player in basically well over a decade. So that's what's on the table. The one thing I'll say, Franz Wagner, who was finally playing some of his best basketball, suffered a calf injury last night in this game. He had 19 points in 24 minutes. Points are at a huge premium in this series. He's headed for an MRI today. If that is a key factor going forward in this series, and potentially even more, with the Magic possibly advancing.
So you'll have something on that later. I'll be monitoring your Twitter feed closely.
An MRI
feels critical.
An MRI is coming. The Magic have a mid-afternoon flight, about 2-3 p.m. flight. So they're expected to know before that flight exactly how bad this calf injury is.
Okay, I love that you know their travel. Timberwolves first. Nuggets down 3-1 in this series, but of course Minnesota losing basically its entire backcourt in the last game. Look at Nikola Jokic pushing and Bruce Brown throwing it down. Look at the ball fake there, Monica, by the big fella.
Yeah, I call him Optimus Dime partly for that reason, Greeny. He's great at finding his teammates in great places.
Denver a 7-point early lead, then it's Jokic working on Gobert. Nuggets by 9, and then final seconds of the half. Shams, look at the range from Nikola Jokic.
This is what we've been missing the first 2 games of this series.
Jokic,
Nikola Jokic, I think.
He had 27 points, 12 rebounds, and 16 assists in this game. So Jokic showed up when they needed him. Third quarter, Nuggets up 17. More Optimus Dime.
Yeah.
Look at that pass to Jamal Murray. Great finish. Denver by 19. 2 minutes left. Watch this pass. Watch this pass.
Ooh. Yeah, man.
This LeBron needed that.
Nuggets by 21. 4 minutes to play in the fourth. Nuggets have, the lead's been cut to 13. We're sort of in a game here, and then we're not. Defense turns into offense. Murray the other way.
Yeah, this was great to see from the Denver Nuggets. An emphatic response, capitalizing on an opportunity with the team wounded. That's what they had to do.
And then this weirdness at the end of the game. I don't know exactly what happens
He
here.
didn't want the turnover, Greeny.
Yeah, Jokic hands the ball over and then tries to take it back. His stat sheet. We've had some weirdness at the end of games in this series. At the end of the day, the Nuggets with a statement win, one they needed, and Jokic was spectacular. Shows why he's one of the best playoff performers ever. It's his 23rd career playoff triple-double. Look at the company that he keeps. Only Magic and LeBron ahead of him. It's also the 3rd time that Jokic has done that when facing elimination, meaning a triple-double. And, you know, Wendy, I feel so bad for the Timberwolves because they played so well the first 4 games, certainly 3 of the first 4 games of this series, and then the devastating 1-2 punch of injuries. So I guess I would ask you, does it feel like the Nuggets coming back and winning is inevitable with Minnesota banged up as they are?
Well, I will say this. I think Game 6 is the moment for Minnesota. They did play well in the second half of this game, but this is a very unique series where one team has played so brilliantly for the first 4 games, earns a 3-1 seed, and now it's the other team that really is favored. A golden ticket has been extended to Denver because of those injuries. You could see instantly last night Minnesota's offense being off. They obviously only put up 96 in this game, and it gave life to Denver. It gave life to their momentum. They had not cracked, this is one of the best offensive teams in the league. They had not cracked 100 in Games 3 or Game 4. Their whole teams played much better last night. The reason Jokic got 16 assists was the role players hitting shots. Spencer Jones, Christian Brown, Cam Johnson. That has gotten them back on a roll here. If they can get Game 6 in Minnesota, they are going to have a great chance to win the second round, something I'm not sure they really deserved after the first 4 games.
I think that's reasonable. You know, Shams, I was at the NFL draft for most of the weekend, and then I got home and I watched the Knicks game candidly. I went to sleep. I was exhausted. So I woke up to your report about just how bad the injury is to Ant Edwards. So there's no way he comes back and plays in this series, right? And even if they go into the next round?
Yeah, Greeny. Anthony Edwards is out.
If you're anything like me, prayer might not always be the easiest thing for you to do. Now, I've been a Christian my entire life, but even still, sometimes prayer is difficult.
Go into the next round?
Yeah, Greeny. Anthony Edwards is out in this series, and of course, it's up in the air whether he's going to, and when and where he's going to return in the next round. If they are able to advance, it's a bone bruise in his left knee. Hyperextension, so he's avoided ligament damage, but it's going to be at minimum, my understanding is 2 weeks. And so that puts you at some point in the second round where the window starts to open up for you to return. But then remember, he's on the right knee, he's dealt with runner's knee, which is something Stephen Curry dealt with. Inflammation, swelling, he had to get a PRP injection a week or two left in the regular season. So he's already had to deal with that. Now it's the other knee he's got this issue in.
So they're going to have to figure this out. And DiVincenzo with the Achilles. So they're going to have to figure this out. Monica, can Minnesota find a way to win this thing at home in Game 6?
Greeny, I've been vacillating with this really since the injuries happened, and of course since last night's performance. The way, to me, is that they can continue to put pressure on this Nuggets defense in the paint. Going into Game 5, they have been averaging 57 points in the paint, Greeny. Like, that's no joke. And so when you think of that, Julius Randle is a key guy that could potentially be sort of the cog with the absences of DiVincenzo and Edwards. He's done it before at other points in his career. This team just needs one. And the thing that makes me believe that they can get the one is I think there's a grittiness about this group that just hasn't quite been accounted for as we discussed them this season.
What do you think of that win, man? Because I don't have a horse in this race, but I hate to see it go this way with this rivalry based exclusively on injury. To your point, you give Minnesota that chance, a fighting chance at home?
They were absolutely turning the ball over like crazy. You lose your starting backcourt, it's not much of a surprise. They had an insane number of turnovers in the first half of this game. In the second half, I don't know what the actual score was, but they essentially played Denver even or outscored them. If you're Minnesota, you're saying in the second half, we can play that way and stitch together 48 minutes. The problem is, even if you are able to stitch together 48 minutes, I don't know what their chances are in the next round. But if you are able to get one more win, it's a huge franchise moment. You know their crowd's going to be into it. The one thing is Jamal Murray, that guy right there, still hasn't had a great game in this series. They hold him down. They still, I think, would have some sort of fighting chance in Game 6.
And the Aaron Gordon of it all here, there's another injury situation on the Denver side of it. What's the latest there?
So he missed Game 3 with a calf injury, calf strain. I'm told it's a pretty bad calf strain that Aaron Gordon is dealing with. And then he tried to play on it in Game 4. He really labored, and the Nuggets sat him out of Game 5. I'm told they're preparing to be without him for Game 6. And a lot of it is protecting him from himself. Remember last year against Oklahoma City, Game 7, he plays through a grade 2 hamstring strain. Well, this isn't a do-or-die game situation right now. This is in the middle of the series, dead heat of competition. Guys are playing at a high level of energy right now, and so Aaron Gordon, I think the preparation is for him to be out.
Winner of this series against San Antonio, I will say this quietly because now I don't feel as good about it, but before the playoffs started, I thought to myself, Denver's the team that's going to make a run all the way through.
Me and you both agree.
Do we still feel that way?
No, I don't think Denver has played great basketball at all, and I think Wendy nailed it in terms of the idea of whether they actually deserve to advance. If not for these injuries, they were not going to.
That's the other way.